Hey everybody, welcome to Shifty's Club. Today, I want to be talking about exactly what I promised a bunch of guys on the Pokemon trading card game online. Guys, it's coming a day late because I was trying to find my Ho cards, Charizard, Giratina, whatnot. I was trying to find them so I could demonstrate how it works, but unfortunately, I don't have the cards like on easy hand access. They're all down deep in a collection. I cannot find them. So so my personal collection is somewhere in there, but that take way too long to go dig for them. By the time I found them, it'd probably be World Championships. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of sort of map it out for you guys. The way, what I promised was, a lot of people were asking about some of these rogue decks of which I came, or with which I came. Now, exactly how this works is these decks pretty much just appear to me. Like, I can just see a card and I'd be like, okay, this works, this works, this works, this works. And that's just what happens. But, when I first seen Giratina, I thought, it's not that great of a card, you know. It took a while for me to even come close to appreciate it. Once I see Ninja Boy, and I saw Ninja Boy, I was like, I can make Giratina work now. But the way it works is two ways: Rebirth Ho-Oh in Giratina, or Stoke Charizard in Giratina. Now, the Rebirth Ho-Oh kind of works to where you can actually attack the same turn you play Ho-Oh. But the problem is, generally you want to get all your cards in the discard pile turn one. You Battle Compressor, and Ultra Ball discard, Professor Sycamore discard, to try to get one or two Ho-Oh in the discard pile or even more, and a Grass, a Psychic, and one other energy card. And generally, the best way to do this is, if you're playing expanded anyway, you could play Grass, Psychic, Darkness, Metal, and that would give you room for Darkrai Free Retreat. And even if you just wanted to go to Darkness and just worry about Free Retreat and screw the Magirna, Metal Shield, whatnot, that would also be fine. I would prefer the Free Retreat with Darkrai anyway. I mean, you could use Manaphy, but let's just face the facts. Darkrai is just a lot less vulnerable to a Life Center one-hit KO. Another thing is that when you use Rebirth Ho-Oh, you have to flip a coin. So when you do get the Pokemon in the discard pile, you flip for one Rebirth Ho-Oh. If it lands heads, you proceed. If it lands tails, you get another shot. So we get the next Rebirth Ho-Oh. We attach the energy from the discard pile to it. So Ho-Oh with 3 different energy cards attached to it. And then we can attach one from hand to it, play Ninja Boy, and swap out Ho-Oh for a Giratina. And that means that we now have a 100 damage Chaos Wheel ready with little to no effort. But the best part about this is that we are free from Enhanced Hammer. We are free from Mega Scissor's attack effect. Whereas normally, you know, if Mega Scizor and Garbodor are paired together, like they usually are in format, then it's kind of hard. But I mean, in an expanded format, I don't see Mega Scizor even lasting because Flareon Vespa can still work. So I really don't see it. But anyway, that's basically one of the ideas I had. The other one is a little easier because you only need a couple cards for it. You play the Charizard EX, the Stoke one, get a Victini from Noble Victories down on the bench, and then Tetra Ninja Charizard, attack. You flip and miss, do it again. So basically you also get 2 flips with this one. But this is an attack, and it goes from 1 energy to putting 3 more for a total of 4 for next turn. So you can go, okay, Ninja Boy, Giratina, and I don't have to play Battle Compressors to get all these energy in the discard pile along with Ho-Oh, and I don't have some sloppy setup where I have to then find a way to retreat out of an active Pokemon. I have to have the darkness in my hand to get that out, or have a free retreater or some float stones. Makes it a lot easier. And then you just touch a Fighting Fury out to Giratina or touch a Charizard pre-hand, and you got yourself an attacker. But yeah, that is basically in a nutshell how the deck works. My favorite version, by far, is going to be the Stoke Charizard combo, just because it's so more. I mean, lots of people, like a lot of competitive players, would be like, "Oh no, I'd rather do Ho-Oh because it takes 1 less turn." Of course, people would say that, but which one's going to be easier on you? In the long haul, you may be able to get it off turn 1, but how often are you actually going to be able to get it off turn 1? Be realistic. Because this is why I came up with Ho-Oh, but the same reason I came up with Charizard. You do have an option for Ho-Oh. There's an option, but it's not the best option. And the reason why is because Ho-Oh requires way too many pieces. Requires Battle Compressor, requires the presence of itself in the discard pile with 3 energy, and it requires, obviously, the coin flip, but Charizard is the same scenario. But if you can only get 1 Rebirth Ho-Oh in the discard pile, you can't re-flip because it's an effective ability instead of an attack like Victini can help. And also another thing is, once you are able to get it onto the bench, you then have to Ninja Boy that turn to get it set. And if you've already used your draw supporter, well, there's no Ninja Boy unless you're miraculously running Magnezone, which I highly doubt is going to happen. So people, I do understand what people are going to say when they see this. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, no, Ho-Oh's better. No. Charizard is by far the better option. Just because that Charizard requires a lot less to get things done. And it works a lot more effectively, as well as being able to free up a lot of unnecessary space. However, there are other decks that I will talk about, which I'll talk while I'm here. My current metagame deck, which I'm probably not going to play at regionals. I'm just kind of playing it right now because it seems very effective. It's just that I really don't want to, take chances against Garbodor. Or take chances against Garbodor. And it's Primal Kyogre, Golduck Break, and Water Toolbox. So basically, the entire idea of the deck is to virtually attack with Primal Kyogre and keep hitting other EXs on the bench. But Golduck Break can virtually just move the energy around, of course, or around the Pokemon. But of course, Primal Kyogre could take a hit. I do believe that. But Manaphy's there to the rescue, give it a free retreat cost, and then you can take those energy onto the bench, and then you could just, the one that was active, and just move them with Golduck Break. It's been very effective. It's won me a lot of matches. Volcanion can't keep up with it. Mega Scizor can't keep up with it. Despair can't keep up with it. The only deck that can keep up with it is Yveltal, and that's if I don't set up. If I set up, it's lights out. They don't got a shot. Because Garbodor is going down, like the song says, it's going down, 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 down. But no. But yeah, I like the deck. It also runs Glaceon EX and Regice. Several different tools for our toolbox Pokemon in the water type to get a lot more done in the different matchups that I have that may not favor me as far as like tier 2, tier 3 matchups. So those decks that are more random and they have a slight edge on me because of this or that. Yeah. Like there are times when playing against Mega Scizor or Mega Gardevoir, I'm like, okay, yeah, Glaceon EX. I have the water attached. Let's Gold Up Break, move some energy off of Primal Kyogre because I can attach one and then touch another straight from my hand. Gold Up Break. Whoop! Glaceon got 3 energy. But yeah, I like to try to set things up pretty fast. Best thing about the deck. Also, my variant of Volcanion is like a kind of a new variant. I don't know if I may have come up with it. I don't know. Volcanion EX with Starmie. I looked at Starmie and I thought, that might work. And then I put it in, I tested it, and noticed that this is very effective. And then I decided, I wonder what would happen if I put in a Manaphy and some water energy. That's when I figured out that I have literally turned an Autoloss from Greninja into the best freaking matchup ever. Like, I can legitimately take out these, if my opponent sets up like 2 or 3 Greninja break, it's basically, okay, if I can get this set, I'll have Steam up to Staryu. People don't even know what this Pokemon does. Like, I'll have the Starmie, I'll be getting energy into my hand. I'll be using the fire and going, boom, discard, Steam up, boom, discard, Steam up. And they're thinking, okay, that's for what it is. So they're wondering, okay, why did he have any energy at all under this thing? And then all of a sudden, when they had the breaks of like Ultra Ball, Starmie break, boom, 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 100. There's one guy that flipped out, saying there's no way that Volcanion could ever work with Starmie break after I hit him twice for 100. I basically took him out pretty good. He couldn't respond. But of course, Volcanion can clean up almost anything. But when you take two knockouts in 2 turns after 2 attacks, that's pretty good. But another deck that I'm really considering is a Cernius Break Garbodor deck. And the reason why is because we're very aware of how good Yveltal is in the format. But Yveltal from Breakthrough isn't really an effective Pokemon if there's no EXs down on the other side. And I understand why a lot of people want to play the EX version and just leave the Breakthrough out. I can totally understand. Of course, in my Yveltal, I play pretty much every Yveltal there is. I might not play max lines of them, but I do play all of them. Just because they have certain matchups, but for Cernius Break, at most you're taking is 40 or 50 damage, depending on if they have you or them have Garbodor in play. They don't. It's 40 damage. And, of course, it's not the best thing in the world, but, being able to beat the best deck in format and still have good matchups across the board, that's something. Especially when you can tech in a Lugia EX just for the Mega Scizor matchup, because you do realize that Mega Scizor gets a hold of any setup period that they have an easy shot at beating you. And with Lugia EX, you can fairly turn the game into a more comfortable win, I guess, than most situations. But generally, the deck is meant to beat Yveltal straight up, because even the EX, even with the Fighting Fury belt, it still takes the resistance. It still has to deal with the fact that you don't run a whole bunch of energy on your active, in that they still need 3 energy to knock out Cernia's break, in any situation. So that means that at that point, you can virtually just, have your own energy on a Lugia EX. You can max elixir attach, retreat, and bada bing bada boom, you've got yourself a knockout, a counter knockout, which is pretty cool. Because I've seen times where I've had 4 energy and they've had 3. I just get the knockout based on a couple of different math equivalencies, but of course, because we don't no longer have muscle band, I have to settle for the little 1 damage, of course. With Fighting Fury Belt, makes it long from KO range, but it works both ways. So that's a good thing. The weird thing is how you have to calculate whether or not the breakthrough Eviltal is going to come through. Come through, I know, that's cool. There, and at that point, you have to calculate whether or not you're going to need that tool card attached to it based on the fact of will you or your opponent have to get a Garbodor onto the field and just neutralize the ability. And sometimes it's helpful to neutralize, sometimes it's not. The best time to not throw down Garbodor is before your opponent plays their Spirit Links and after they Mega Evolve. Sure, now play Garbodor. So, with Cernia's Break Garbodor, it makes kind of sense to be able to have some good leverage in matchups based on one Pokemon's ability alone. But, of course, let's talk about the best deck in format, but my version of it, Yveltal Garbodor. Now, I've always run a specific type of Yveltal Garbodor. When I first saw it come back to format, I immediately looked at some lists, and people were only using Yveltal EX and the Breakthrough Yveltal, and I asked why, because there were so many different scenarios where one Steam Siege and one Break would do very well in situations. Like, for example, a Break Evolution is the only thing keeping you from getting a OHKO on a non-belted Jolteon, or it can still be belted and you have the Breakthrough Yveltal sitting right there. And at that point, you can, with the belt, or not on Jolteon, he's only doing 140 with weakness. Yveltal Break makes it 150, so you're 10 away from knockout, means you can counterattack for another 120 damage. I mean, the math adds fairly in your favor, and without ways to respond to this, there's really no way that you can keep up in the Jolteon match, because if you're being able to get 120 damage, sacrificing one prize for their 170 or 140 damage and 2 prizes, then you have a better prize exchange if you can fit one Yveltal Break into that equation, because at that point, if you can keep the Max Elixir double colorless rolling, basically Jolteon won't be able to keep up with the match. It'll basically be, okay, I'm going to get 2 knockouts for 4 prizes in 3 turns. Because if Yveltal Breakthrough is attacking at that last 170, 180 HP that I need, then Fighting Fury Belt's pretty much dead at that point. It's just knockout. So I understand why people don't run the break. I just think that in too many scenarios, the break has actually helped me a lot more than not running the break at all. Just running one is a very, very good idea, guys. Trust me. Same thing with the Steam Siege. The Steam Siege actually is probably one of the more underestimated versions of Eviltal because of its lack of usefulness in the current Tier 1 metagame. Now, there's some decks in Tier 2, Tier 3 that can kind of push the matchup in their favor, but you can push it back into your favor with Oblivion Wing Eviltal. And the reason why is because things like, say, Houndoom Mill, things like Hammer Time in the New Age. There are New Age Hammer Times that, not with Sableye, of course, but there are New Age decks like Houndoom Mill that just run a bunch of hammers, and if they can consistently keep energy off the board, you can't do anything if you don't have the Steam Siege. You just basically fold to them. That's how some of these Houndoom Mills were able to win in the in the Eviltal Garbodor format, was because nobody was playing the Steam Siege Eviltal. And while I do understand it from one perspective, I also have to completely disagree with anyone who doesn't run it, because you come up against hammers, that could be the difference between a win and a loss because of your energy attachments. You miss a couple in certain spots, certain key areas, you could completely get the match swung in your opponent's favor, whereas opposed to if you're able to get a Max Elixir, attach, and an Oblivion Wing for 3 total energy in 1 turn to avoid all these different hammer situations, and even cutting 1 double colorless down to 3 and going up 1 darkness energy, it could completely change the entire game. Now, I know a lot of people aren't too thrilled at just 3 DCE, but that's the way my deck runs, and it runs very, very well. Generally, if you run 4 Max Elixir, 10 or 11 Darkness Energy, you can handle just running 3 DCE because your energy attachments just go so fast, and because Crushing Hammer's a flip, it's a lot harder to discard those. But of course, if you want to run Carbink, be my guest. I mean, I don't run it, but it's a good way to ensure that Crushing Hammer's not getting rid of Darkness Energy. And then forcing your opponent to throw up Garbodor, so. But, of course, it's, some things take little time, some things just are different approaches, but for me, I like certain approaches. Now, another thing I have with the Eviltal match is that the difference between Parallel City and Reverse Valley. Now, the reason why everybody runs Parallel City is to get rid of their own Shamans, so they can't be Lysander, making that match so much more favorable. You have 2 Eviltal EX or 2 Eviltal Breakthrough, and 1 of the other, and then a Garbodor. And then if you're playing the mirror match, you just don't even worry about it. Unless you really want to attach a Floatstone or Fighting Fury Belt to that Breakthrough Eviltal, then that depends. But, of course, I know that since everybody else is running the Parallel City, if they beat me to it, then it's basically just a dead card. But I know that there's so many times when Reverse Valley has actually been very, very useful. Like, at times where my opponent has an active Eviltal Breakthrough, has an active Eviltal Breakthrough, I'll basically have the Reverse Valley to give me that extra 10 push, and then I have they have 3 energy for 20 for 20, 40, 60, 70, and then all I need is the 20 damage, and I can basically or 2 energy, and that pretty much just pushes it to a 1-hit KO instead of 120. So I've had plenty of situations where I could just Max Elixir attach, retreat, and get a knockout pretty much just that easily on Breakthrough Eviltal. But I mean, I could see either way Break the Revoltall being use the Parallel City Reverse Valley difference, but of course, since everybody else is running, sorry guys, since everybody else is running Parallel City, might as well run Reverse Valley. I mean, because it's basically a speed match to who gets theirs out first off, and then at that point, you can basically just counter the stadium, force them to have that option to throw down more Pokemon. But of course, they'll probably try to throw another Parallel City, and that's when you counter another Reverse Valley. Try to keep those, try to keep that damage going at the right pace. Of course, there are some people who like to run a split of 2 Parallel City, 1 Reverse Valley. Not a lot of them are winning tournaments, and I've seen a single deck running 2 Reverse Valley, 1 Parallel City, or even just 2 or 3 Reverse Valley, themselves, but of course, there are plenty of times when the deck doesn't work, like Vespiquen, Zebstrika. You just have to outspeed them, which is very hard to do. And at that point, you just gotta try to one-hit KO everything with Yveltal EX. Of course, there are some matchups where you can tech fairly easily. If you do come across these matchups and you're afraid that Vespiquen, Zebstrika, or Zebstraquin is going to be a very big problem for you, Tekken Sharpedo EX. Trust me when I say Sharpedo EX may be your best bet. Unless you're planning on running a medium thick line of hammers, it's probably going to be your best one of. And the reason why is because it may take a little bit to get down and up, but there's always going to be some key Pokemon of which you can just drag a knockout. There's going to be times where Sharpedo can just, okay, let's go switch this Pokemon in, hit for 30, and put a little pressure. Of course, since you're never going to be taking 3 prizes, you're always going to take 6 to get to take all your prize cards, because they legitimately only run Shaman, and chances are they're going to play their own parallel cities. So, so it becomes very, very difficult to execute. Now, Alex Hill will tell anybody that Zebstraquin is a pain in the butt to get working. But when it does work, it is amazing. And it wins a lot of matches. Especially against Yveltal Garbodor. Now, there are a couple of rogue decks you can use if you want to try to pull some strings and shock some people at like the Georgia Regionals or whatnot. One fun rogue deck that does have a legitimate shot at top cutting if you can run the right list. The problem is I can't find the right list because I'm not good at actual deck list building. So a good idea would be Aerodactyl, Armaldo, Almastar, which is basically like some kind of a fossil deck, because Trinidad's not really that big of a deal in our format. You could probably get away with it. Of course, being able to get Armaldo allows you to basically move your opponent's energy from active to bench, so you could move all the energy to a Garbodor, force your opponent to go like, you moved 2 double colors to my Garbodor. You know, not kidding. And you have no AZ or anything to get rid of it, so. And once they get that float stone, oh my god. Yeah. But I would say, like, Slowking from Breakpoint, but if Garbodor has the tool card, then it's pretty much useless, because all you gotta do is use it to retreat, and then special charge back in the deck. But, sorry guys. Throat's killing me. But that's a nice little fun deck, to try. Another one that I've tried is Power or Break, and it's worked fairly well. It's just that if I'm not careful, I get return KO'd very easily. And not being able to utilize max elixirs or mega turbos really kills the deck. But if you can avoid Greninja Break-In, you could find a nice little list alongside of possibly like a Ninetales or something. You could probably get it to working. Another very weird deck that has also worked for me it's kind of like it's kind of a weird deck. It's the brand new promo Snorlax, and you utilize Hypno, but you also have not Max Elixirs. You don't run Max Elixirs. It's like four Pokemon combo. It takes a little while for it to set up unless you can like use Bridget, because technically Snorlax is not an EX, it's a GX. So you'll be able to pull it out with Bridget with 2 other Pokemon. So it was a Snorlax, and then I pulled out Drowsy, and then I pulled out Trico. That was it. It was so basically the way the deck works, and this is just a fun deck. This is not like competitive or nothing. Nah. It's basically Snorlax GX is your main attacker, and then you have the Sceptile from Primal Clash, the one with the ability. Once your turn before you attack, you may attach aggressive energy from your hand to your one of your Pokemon and heal 30 damage from it. Well, I basically work my way Trico Rare Candy Sceptile, and then I just attach the energy. The other one being Drowsy to Hypno. Hypno puts both active Pokemon to sleep. Use the attack, puts me to sleep. So basically, with these Trico, I can get my attack faster, I guess is the word for which I'm looking. And it doesn't require double colorless. That's the good thing. And there's so many different ways that you can actually utilize the attack. There's so many different Pokemon that you can put into the deck to make it either more disruptive, more accelerative. But it's by no means a regionals winning deck or competition winning deck. It's just something, fun, cool to try. I just took a bunch of Pokemon and I was like, I'm making this work. I'm making it work. But no. But yeah, guys, like I said before, the main point of this video was me keeping my promise to people, saying, yeah, I'm going to show you how to utilize Ho-Oh, or tell you how to utilize Ho-Oh because I can't find them, and how it's supposed to work, what to do in specific situations in the metagame, the current metagame we have right now for Standard, given that Georgia Regionals are approaching in a little bit. Obviously, I probably won't be able to get a lot in before the Dallas Regional, but because I'm starting to try to get more videos put, because now that the college football season is pretty much over, except for a few bowl games, and I've already studied for my bowl games. So, and then all I have right now at the moment is NBA and NFL, just a little of NFL left, and then it'll be just NBA for the entire time up until like April. So it makes it a lot easier when I'm doing just one at somewhere during the year, guys, because at that point I have more time to do videos and I need less time to do studying for my sports betting. So, but anyway, guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Post any comments you have in the comment section down below. And as always, hope you guys had a good time. And another update for those who hardly ever watch. Said, I am looking for people who might be interested in creating an intro video and in a credits video for the end, like the beginning and end of each episode, and maybe someone who's good at like figuring out how to do what I'm doing right now, and take that and put it into like some program, mess around with it, be able to put pictures like a picture here, yeah, one in the separate corner or something in this corner right here. Yeah, you guys can suck at this. I don't know that much about this video recording technology. I just wanted to start this channel, like I said, to help you guys at Pokemon. Hope I've done my job with some of you. But anyway, guys, if you know anybody who may be interested, let me know, especially if they're in the Georgia area. Obviously, I'm not paying a whole bunch of money for someone to do this, otherwise I would have went to a professional company, but I did have my contest not too long back, and the contest, unfortunately, didn't have enough qualifying entries. So, but anyway, guys, like I said, hope you guys had a great time, and I'll see you guys next time at Shifty's Club.